Hello, welcome to Mac World. We're going to be talking about the iPhone 7 today. So we've got some ideas, things that aren't actually in the iPhone 6s, things we wish were included. Why don't you go first, Lewis? What do you want?
First things first, I had the 6 Plus, moved down to the 6S. You can really see the jump in quality because you're used to a 1080p display of the 6 Plus. So once you go down, I mean, it's not a bad screen, don't get me wrong, it's a decent screen, but once you've had better, it is a bit disappointing.
You can really tell the difference.
I can tell the difference.
If you do a young eye.
Yeah, pick up the detail.
I bought Apple's line with the Retina display. You remember the thing about how the human eye can't see any more than 400 pixels per inch on a smartphone, and a lot of people have been saying that they reckon they can see better.
Yeah.
I suppose, the logical thing is that Apple themselves increased the pixel density on the Plus model. It does seem strange that they wouldn't then acknowledge that the Retina pixel density is not the best you can see.
Yeah, no.
Maybe they will do this. I think it's a good idea.
I don't want them to rate it any more than 1080 though. Because there is talk about 4K screen on the bigger model, and I think that's just pointless. For such a small device, for that many pixels, you're not going to get the most out of it, and it's going to cause ridiculous amount of battery drain.
Yes,
to power that display.
Well, you know that 3 years down the line, then we're all going to have these 4K screens on our smartphones, and we're going to go, I don't know how we managed to do that. We're all claiming we can see.
We're looking back at this video like, if only you knew.
Yeah, a lot of it is just perception, I think. Just you feel like you've got a better screen, and therefore you enjoy it more. But all the other companies have got higher pixel rating, so it just seems like it's something Apple should do. I suppose that they have got the moment with the Plus and the S or the 6, then there's an extra reason to upgrade. Yeah, they might like having that extra thing, like the video optional image stabilization that you get on the 6S Plus. You don't get on any other phone.
Yeah.
They like having their king phone, their hero phone.
Be best. It's always ever just kind of one or two features that they have better than anything else, but it's just those one or two killer features that you just need.
Yeah. Okay, you convinced me on that. I upgraded from quite recently to the 6S Plus, so I've made a big jump up from 4 inches to the 5.5 inch screen size, which is probably, I guess it's an unusual jump, but I suppose a few people have done that. But I've really felt that the 5.5 inch is uncomfortably large. I've got used to it more than I expected to, but it's still it's heavy.
I don't think it's for everyone.
No, it's not. So what I'm going to ask for on my wish list is for Apple to make another 4-inch phone, because I think you look at the 6 onwards, and there are a lot of compromises that they've had to make. They basically acknowledge that, I know this is the extreme. So you've got the power button on the side. Which in itself causes problems, as you've said a lot of times, because it's opposite the volume button. So when you try and press the power button, you press the volume button at the same time, and one of them doesn't activate. They've acknowledged that it's too big a screen for you to reach all with your thumb, so you've got this business with the reachability function where you double tap, which everybody forgets about and doesn't use. So everybody's developed these methods of using the large phones where they sort of hold it on the side and they do it like this.
Yeah.
My hands are like huge, but they're sort of average. You've got enormous hands. My hands are not huge, and I can't reach the whole of the screen.
No.
And these are all compromises. I think great. Keep having these big phones for troll hands over here. But I think it would be nice to have another 4-inch phone, just for people like me to have the option. That's what I would like. Yeah. Right. What else do you got?
I think I'd like to make the iPhone 7 waterproof. That's kind of one up there for me. You've had it with the Sony Xperia for a few years, and the Galaxy S5 was waterproof as far as I can remember, but that didn't do too well. And I think that's mainly because you have to cover the ports. Because obviously the ports are exposed and you can't get the water in the charging port, headphone port, because it'll be an absolute nightmare.
Yeah, so how did they get around that with the ports?
They had little plastic covers that you had to pop on. And I think from Apple's perspective, where they're very design conscious, the last thing they want is little plastic bits hanging off the bottom of the phone. So they need, if they can find a way around it, because Sony does actually have a way of waterproofing their headphone jack on their latest phone. There is still a cover for the charging port, the USB port, but the headphones pretty waterproof without the cap, which I think is absolutely amazing.
One way of getting around it partly is to have wireless charging.
Yeah.
One of the advantages of wireless
Yeah.
charging is that you don't have so many exposed areas, and you still have to have things like the headphone port. This is something that's been around a while. I looked into a little bit. Little electric toothbrushes have had wireless charging since about the 90s. So there's no reason why we shouldn't be able to get it on iPhones now. I think smartphones have had it since about 2010. There's a bunch of rival smartphones that have it now. There's the Galaxy S6 we were talking about earlier. The Google Nexus 6. And Motorola phones.
Pretty much all the flagship Android phones.
Exactly. And this is something that Apple hasn't really got into. I should say, before we go any further, when we say wireless charging, we just mean inductive charging, where you put it on a plate.
Yeah.
So the distance between them is zero. It's not like, what I like is imagine having it in your pocket and you just sit at your desk.
And it's charging.
And it's charging, and you don't have to even think about it.
That's the future we're heading towards.
But
we're not quite there yet.
We're not. But the technology has been developed to do that. The MIT researchers have found that they can extend the charging over a couple of meters to remove even the element of I am now charging this object, and just to have it I'm near enough. You can have it in train stations or something. You can sponsor recharging ports that you just stand nearby and your phone's all
have them on the train.
On the train.
While you're on the train to London.
That would be amazing. Why not have that? Except for all the practicalities that
and all the rest of it.
Well, yes, exactly. But the boring, the inductive charging version, which we have in the Apple Watch even, there's no reason why that shouldn't be possible on the iPhone. But at the moment, if you want to have it on an iPhone, if you want to just put it on a plate, charging plate, you have to have bought a special case from one of the third-party manufacturers. So that's a bit of a faff. I would like that to be a possibility.
Yeah.
Incidentally, we would like fast charging.
Definitely needed. Because most phones have some kind of fast charge to them. For the emergency situations where you've got about 10-15 minutes where you need to get a bit of battery. The Note 5 has really is really quick at charging, and that's such a huge phone, it's got a huge battery inside. And so I don't understand why the iPhone 6s takes like 2 hours. From dead to full, it takes around about the 2 hour mark to charge up, and I don't really understand that.
Yeah, it's frustrating, isn't it? If you're about to leave a house, it's on 8%, this is not going to work.
Get to the end of the road and something slightly more ridiculous and good. I hope it would happen, but I'm not too sure it's going to. Basically, it's on-screen haptic feedback.
Excellent.
So it's the next level up from the haptic feedback we have now. Basically, the idea is when you say you've got a picture of like a stone, for example, you've got a picture of a stone on the screen.
You're looking at a picture of stones.
Well, it's just favourite part. So looking at a picture of a stone, you can activate it somehow, maybe by pushing into the screen, and then you run your finger across, and the haptic feedback will generate the feeling of texture of the rock. It analyzes on screen, so you'll be able to feel different materials, and I think that's really, really cool. But
that's the next level of immersion, isn't it? For your gaming experience.
Yeah, exactly,
But so we've got the 3D set at the moment, which is a sort of... It's a bit strange, because when I heard about the fact they were bringing that to the iPhone screen, I was expecting it to be like the Force Touch on the Apple Watch, and on particularly thinking about the MacBook, 12-inch MacBook trackpad. Because when you click it, it doesn't actually click downwards, it vibrates in such a way to give you a specific physical sensation. You think you're pressing it down, so it's fooling you, and it's the same principle. This sort of illusion, I like that idea of it. Magical, isn't it?
Yeah, it's great. Apple's known for.
Home button. Who needs a home button? Let's get rid of the home button completely.
Get rid of it.
Along the principle that, when the iPhone first got rid of the physical hardware, keyboard, and everyone had BlackBerry, said this is ridiculous. We now realise that software keyboards are the way forward, because it means that you have the screen and you've got everything sort of customizable, if you like. You can do whatever you like with the whole screen, and some of it becomes a keyboard at certain times, and then when you don't want it, when you want to put on video, it's gone. Which is, we now realise is much better, and BlackBerry was a bit old-fashioned for doing that. So it will be the same. It's an extension of that principle to the home button, because at the moment this is effectively dead real estate, if you like. It's only good for one thing, it's pressing the home button. So you get rid of that, the whole screen becomes sensitive to things like fingerprints, so you can unlock it with that, or face recognition while we're sticking stuff out that as well. And that way you just get a little bit more screen space, edge-to-edge screen, we're not sure how many of those things will actually happen in the iPhone 7, and a lot of them are impractical, I'm afraid. But we're going to carry on filtering all the rumours for the iPhone 7 up to the launch, so for all of those, come to macworld.co.uk. You kept putting faces.
That was the most random video I think we've ever done.